Alright, peace, Sabrina. So we are going to continue reading. Okay, so we left off on the aspects that Saturn, you feel me, was making. I meant to say Mars, right? That was the last thing we were talking about. If I'm not mistaken, specifically we were speaking on Mars, Uranus. Right, so you'll have your Mars and Uranus squaring each other. And what this does, you feel me, because Uranus is also a higher octave of Mercury. You feel me? Uranus is considered like a satellite. You know, it deals with how you are channeling like alien energy from external sources. You know, and that's why Uranus deals with like your individuality and your originality, and Uranus also an inventive energy. You know, and so with Mars squaring Uranus, to put it in simple terms, when it comes to originality, inventiveness, and stepping into a light that may seem foreign to other people, those energies you may struggle with, you feel me? You may have a tendency of, especially with the Mars in Cancer, a tendency of, in a sense, going with what is more comfortable or going with the crowd rather than getting up and like being disruptive, even when it may be called for, you feel what I'm saying? But like with Mars and Neptune squaring each other, this energy is like there is a struggle between your imagination, your visualizations, your fantasies, your desire for a utopian world, for example, versus your actions and you actually going out and doing the things you know you need to do in order for those things to manifest into existence. I hope you get what I'm saying. So it's like with this Neptune-Mars square, it can even play out like you may find yourself either all the way in the dream world and not in that world of action and execution, or too much in the world of execution and action, but forgetting your dreams and aspirations, you feel me? Yeah, you know, with like, yeah, pretty much, you feel what I'm saying, with Mars square Neptune, you feel me? But yeah, so without further ado, I do recall that I talked a little bit also about like that aspect, you feel me, between like, not aspect, but the fact that you have most of your fourth house in Capricorn, you know, and so with you having most of your fourth house in Capricorn, yeah, you know, this does produce hardships when it comes to like the familial energy, but the fourth house, it deals with like the atmosphere, not the atmosphere, but the environment of the home, you feel me? And so Capricorn is a sign that deals with utilization, using, and also taking advantage of the opportunities that present themselves. Like with Capricorn in the fourth house, like sometimes love and like the partnership and like not even love or the partnership, not so much that, but more so the home life wasn't so much about nourishment and taking care of and like loving energy, but it was more about making sure that everybody was okay and providing material assurances, but not emotional assurances, you feel me? Material nourishment, but not emotional nourishment. But it's like at the end of the day, your fourth house is actually ruled by Jupiter, you feel me? And so Jupiter is a benefic planet that deals with expansion and growth, you feel me? And so with with Jupiter ruling over your fourth house, you know, this does produce opportunities, you know, for like opportunities for expansion within the home life, you feel me? In the sense that because most of it is Capricorn, like the energies that are coming in, they may seem harsh, you feel me? They may seem like disconnected and even isolated, but in reality, it's like if you have the ability to pierce into deeper perspectives of what's actually going on within the family, you can actually extract, you know, wealth from it. And so Capricorn is a sign that ultimately deals with building, as I previously discussed. You know, it's a sign whose thought trend is I use, you know, and it belongs to the utility series. So it's all about utilizing the opportunities you have, you feel me? And so with that being said, it's like in the upbringing, you know, you may have even felt like you are being used more so for what you can give than for just being yourself and being, you know, a woman or someone's daughter, you feel me, and being a human who needs love and needs nourishment, you feel what I'm saying? But like with the fourth house, being ruled by Jupiter, this gives an optimistic perception and perspective when it comes to the relationships. You feel me? But also, you having that third house inside, most of your third house is Sagittarius. With you having that third house Sagittarius, you do have an ability to perceive grander thoughts, and you do have an ability, once you tap in, to access and communicate with like higher beings, in the sense that, just like we have communities and we have mentors in this physical plane, there's also communities and mentors and people, that desire to want to help you in the astral plane, in the spiritual plane, and the planes above, you feel me? And when it comes to the third house in Sagittarius, this can even also just be like having a grandiose interest when it comes to different cultures, you feel me, and extracting different information from different people, maybe different religions, just being curious about life also, and the experiences that are presented by life. Also with you having the fourth house ruled by Sagittarius, it would make a lot of sense if your upbringing was very foreign, because Sagittarius is a sign of foreigners. It's a sign that deals with traveling as well. So it makes sense that you had an upbringing that was foreign, but also probably religious, if you feel what I'm saying. But yeah, so that's pretty much like the fourth house energy. Now let's look into the other house, which Jupiter is ruling. So Jupiter rules the fourth house, but also rules the seventh house, you feel me? So Jupiter is ruling the fourth house through the sign Sagittarius, but the seventh house through the sign Pisces. So Pisces is the more so feminine aspect of, the more feminine aspect of Pisces. The more feminine aspect of Jupiter is what I meant to say. And so when Jupiter is in the seventh house, these are first and foremost people who, when Jupiter rules over the seventh house, when it comes to love and their ability to love, it becomes grandiose, and there is a surplus, a great amount of love that you can give to the partner, but Pisces is also the sign of delusion. It deals with rose-colored glasses, and unfortunately, Pisces can deal with like deception, right, illusion, or even like manipulation, which is the same thing, like on the more heavy negative attributes, Pisces deals with imprisonment, is what I'm saying. But like on the more positive attribute, Pisces deals with the dissolving of the ego, and dissolving yourself into the partner, into another, you feel me? So it's positive and negative. Positively, Pisces being ruled by Jupiter is a sign, that can access higher states of love easier than other people can. And so with you having the seventh house Pisces, this can even play out as like you being the type of person, because your seventh house is in Pisces, is ruled by Pisces. Your seventh house is ruled by Jupiter, is what is accurate for me to say. But okay, but it's like the majority of your seventh house is in Aries, if you know what I'm saying. I need to pull up your chart right now. And because the majority of your seventh house is in Aries, self-love becomes of great importance, and learning how to love yourself, But furthermore, with Aries being in the seventh house, a lot of the times we are drawn and attracted to people that are similar to us, that are just like us, and one negative thing about this is expecting your partner to be just like you and being disappointed when they portray certain things that are not you, you feel what I'm saying? So that can be a negative attribute. But like ultimately with the Pisces in the first house energy, it can also play out as you holistically and fully giving yourself to your partner, you feel me? And this can be a negative in the sense that when in love, you may give yourself to the partner so much that you neglect the fact that, how about your cup? Not even about how about your cup, but it's like all of your marbles, all of your eggs get put into one basket with the seventh house in Aries. And so, this is good because these are people that can love wholeheartedly and they want to give themselves to the partners, and And these are also people that desire, to have like deeper connections with their partner, spiritual connections with their partner. You feel me? They don't just want to be having sex or anything like that, but like they want to take the sex to a all right, cool, to a spiritual level. You feel what I'm saying? All right, cool. I'm about to pull up your chart right now. Okay, but yeah, so as I was saying, the majority of your 7th in Pisces is in Aries. So, with that being said, there can even sometimes be energies here, because Aries is the I, the ego, the I am, the me. There can even be energies here of lack of compromisation, maybe not fully wanting to compromise. But I feel like with the Sun in Libra, that balances things out, and you become have an ability to compromise. But I feel like also with the 7th house in Aries, you do have a desire to want to be seen and recognized, and you appreciate it when your partner sees you and knows you and understands you. You feel what I'm saying? I feel like 7th house in Aries, because it's ruled by Pisces, but the majority of it is in Aries. 7th house in Aries, it can play out as seeking understanding about oneself through relationships and through others, even, you feel what I'm saying? But yeah, so that's that. Okay, now let's look at like, your 5th and your 6th house. So your 5th and your 6th house are both ruled by Saturn. So with your 5th house being ruled by hold on, I'm looking. So your 6th house and your 5th house. So with your 5th house being ruled by Saturn, unfortunately, certain things. So the 5th house, what is the 5th house? The 5th house is the house that deals with offsprings, it deals with sex, it deals with entertainment, it deals with like how you extract pleasure from life, but also your creativity and your creative energies. You feel what I'm saying? That's all the 5th house. So with the 5th house being in Capricorn, because Saturn is ruling the 5th house, illnesses around sex may come through. And these illnesses may not even portray physically, but they can even be mental. Like having mental restrictions and limitations about sex, you feel me? And having certain toxic energies resolving around sex, you feel me? And not having an ability to, because it's like, I don't know how it's going to sound, but it's like, when we are having sex, we should be childlike, you feel me? There should be a sense of innocence, a sense of playfulness, a sense of, but with Saturn being in Capricorn, there may not fully be a sense of playfulness, a sense of, innocence. It may be serious, and it may, like, you feel what I'm saying? It may be harsh, and it's like, it may be more of an act, more of a thing, more of a service you're giving someone rather than emotional connection. But at the same time, of course, you have like that Venus and Scorpio, so like sex is always going to merge and connect you and your partner. But what I'm saying is that like the underlying energies of that house, you feel me? The underlying energies of that house are Capricorn. So it's harsh. And it's also like one way or another, like, because Capricorn deals with building something, it deals with status, and so like I said earlier, both your 4th and your 5th house are in Capricorn, you feel me? And that clarifies and renews my mind, because that would mean the majority of your 5th house is in Aquarius, and Aquarius is a sign, I feel, where it's like sex becomes more mental than physical. You feel what I'm saying? Sex is more mental than physical in your case, and this can even play out as like you having mental sex with people, and you choosing mental sex over physical sex. I feel like with Capricorn, but then it's like the majority, as I've been saying, is in Aquarius, but again, like Aquarius is a sign, it's fixed air, right? And so being fixed air, there can be restrictions and limitations that are imposed that are mental that deal with sex. You feel what I'm saying? And so I feel like, because Sagittarius also, not Sagittarius, Aquarius also upholds like the deacon of repression. You feel me? Within Aquarius. My bad. The deacon of repression is in the sign Aquarius. So, like the fifth house being here, like make sure that you allow your sex to flow, allow yourself to express yourself sexually, with your partner, with your lover, and yeah, you feel me? I hope you get what I'm saying. Like, and if this resonates, I hope it does. Focus on releasing certain mental restrictions, mental limitations that revolve around sex. Is what I'm saying. Okay, now let's talk about the sixth house. The sixth house is also ruled by Saturn, but it's Aquarius. You feel me? That's the cusp of this. That's the house cusp sign. So Aquarius, you feel what I'm saying, is a sign. So the sixth house. The sixth house is the house that deals with work, labor, routine, but ultimately it helps you gain a better awareness and understanding of how you can go about integrating work and routine into your life. But furthermore, the sixth house is also the house of health. You know what I'm saying? This is the house of health, routines, work, and it helps you understand the circumstance and the condition of your work life. You know what I'm saying? So, in the sixth house, Aquarius, you are asked to, one way or another, work with people. Because that's the sign of Aquarius. That's what the sign of Aquarius is all about. Working with others and servicing and helping others, you know what I'm saying? But then, like, the majority of your sixth house is in Pisces. And so Pisces is a sign that embraces, like, Reiki, for example, healing, Pisces are the natural healers, they're always continuously trying to heal and give. But of course, I want to throw this out there. When we're talking about Pisces sun, because the sun, it deals with your focus. Pisces sun, a lot of the time, their focus is healing. And then once they evolve and they heal themselves and they become great conduits to help heal others, you feel what I'm saying? But yeah, so it's like the sixth house energy, my bad. With the sixth house in Pisces, with the sixth house in Aquarius, Aquarius also deals with technology. The internet is ruled by Aquarius. Aquarius also deals with databases and great sums of information and knowledge and intellect. And so, tapping into the realm of knowledge and information and understanding would be of great benefit and value to you, is what I'm saying. And like with you having that first house, like your sun is in the first house in the sign Libra, and it's like you're most definitely on a path of searching, not path of search, but path of finding yourself for another. You feel me? That's what Libra is all about. Libra is all about the partnership. The first house is all about the self. So you are very much in a department that's dealing with finding ways to find yourself within others, or even utilizing yourself to bring balance to others. You feel what I'm saying? And then with the moon in Sagittarius, it's like Sagittarius is a sign that deals and embraces, I think we already talked about this previously. It deals and it embraces, higher knowledge, intellect, those loftier thoughts that deal with the higher planes. But, Aquarius and Sagittarius, these are both signs that deal with knowledge, you feel me? And so Aquarius is more of a sign that deals with comprehension. It deals, and that's why it deals with like philosophy as well, you feel me? It more deals with like your ability to comprehend life, you feel me? And so with your moon being in Sagittarius, I'm pretty sure, we're going to talk about your moon because, the 11th house and the 12th house. The 11th house is ruled by the moon and the 12th house is ruled by the sun. So we're getting to it, but we haven't talked about it just yet. But yeah, so looking at this, like emulating something similar to what I'm doing would be of great benefit for you, most definitely, is what I'm saying. But it's like with the 6th house being in Aquarius, there's an indication that your work asks that you apply your mind and you apply your intellect one way or another, you feel me? And it's like, keep in mind that we have the same ascendant, you feel me? You have your ascendant in Virgo, I have my ascendant in Virgo. So like the energies, like, you feel me? So it makes sense why you consider me an inspiration also, um, because our houses are overlapped or they're similar. What I'm saying. But anyways, let's go deeper and let's look at something else. um, but yeah, that reminds me, I have to talk about Pisces as well. So like I said, although the house cusp sign is Aquarius, the majority of your sixth house is in Pisces. And so everything I said earlier about Pisces, these are all like fields of works that you can look into. You feel what I'm saying? Like nurses, for example, are good examples of the Pisces energy. But Pisces is a very self-sacrificial sign as well. And so anything where it's like, okay, so we know that you have your first house in Virgo, right? So with the first house in Virgo, it's inevitable that one way or another you're going to find yourself in the field of service, because we discussed how the first house deals with the self, but then Virgo is service. And so, yeah, one way, whether it's like you servicing, your family, your husband, whatever it is, like Virgo is going to incline and draw you towards service. But anyways, that pretty much is the 7th and the 4th house. Wait, is it the 7th and the 4th house? My mistake. That's pretty much the 5th and the 6th house, before I'm saying. Now we're going to be looking at the 11th and the 12th house. First the 11th and the 12th house, before I'm saying. Alright, so your 12th house, your 11th house is ruled by the moon. Your 11th house is in Cancer. So let me tell you this also. The thing about, it's like 25 degrees of Virgo, you feel me? So it's like if you were born like 2 hours later, then your ascendant would have been Libra. And if your ascendant was Libra, then your whole life would be inverted in a sense, in the sense that the first house is the house that deals with the self, the I, the me, but then Libra is the sign that deals with the other. And so, people who have like this, the first house in Libra, a lot of themselves they give to another person, but furthermore they identify themselves according to their relationships. You know what I'm saying? But because it's Virgo, it's not like that. But at the same time, as we've been talking, it kind of might as well be, but it's like you got lucky. Anyways, so with the 11th house in Cancer, the way that this energy, hold on, before I speak on this, let me double check. With the 11th house in Cancer, so your 11th house, the majority of your 11th house is in the sign Leo, but the house cusp sign is Cancer. And so this energy is like this. Look, the 11th house deals with the hopes and the dreams and the aspirations, but furthermore, the 11th house, it also deals with like your network and your connections. It deals with like long distant relatives, you feel me? Because the 11th house is ruled by the sign Aquarius, and Aquarius is the least personal air sign. You feel what I'm saying? Aquarius is to dealing with people abroad, you feel what I'm saying? So like, yeah, so like, with your 6th house energy being in Aquarius, like, for instance, what I do, right? I keep on bringing back what I do, because it's like, we're like 2 degrees separate, 2-3 degrees separate, you feel me? Like, I deal with a lot of people, right? And a lot of people know me, but I don't know them, you feel me? And so that's very much Aquarius. It deals with people, it deals with networks, but it's not a personal, intimate connection. It's just, like, business or whatever, you feel me? And so that's what the 11th house is. It deals with your network and your connections. And so Cancer is a sign, right, that's ruled by the moon, right? And the moon is domestic energy, right? So, and it's emotions and everything like that. And so, in the most simplest way, we talked about your 4th house and how that energy is detrimented, because it's in Capricorn. With your 11th house being in Cancer, it's like, whereas the familial energy wasn't there, you find that you are you find family within strangers. Like that's in the most simplest way to put it, you feel me? It's like you draw and you attract certain people that go on to fill the role of like maybe that role that your mother never filled or your father never filled before. I'm saying because the fourth house in Capricorn energy. And so like also this reminds me that I should talk about your 10th house, you feel me? Because your 10th house, although in Gemini, the majority of your 10th house is in Cancer. So, and just like the first 5 degrees of your 11th house is in Cancer, but the rest is in Leo, you feel me? And so we already talked about what the 11th house is. It deals with people abroad, you know, not personal connections, but just people in general. And then Leo, you know, is a sign that's ruled by the sun, you feel what I'm saying? And Leo primarily deals with executive abilities, you feel me? It deals with dominating negatively, you know. Leos can be very domineering and controlling. But ultimately, with you having the 11th house in Leo, the majority of it, it is also an indication that one way or another, like just like you tell me you've been feeling, you are indeed, you know, meant to like be a leader in the, it's kind of like a public figure, you feel what I'm saying, like type energy technically, with Leo being in the 11th house. Because Leo is also a sign that deals with the identity, you know, it also deals with the will, you know. And so with Leo being in the 11th house, a lot of your will is going to naturally want to direct itself towards like the community or assisting others, you feel me? But at the same time, I did say earlier that the 11th house deals with the dreams and aspirations. So yeah, that is another thing as well, you know, like your will is more likely going to want and desire to express itself through the pursuit of the aspirations. But then it's like at the same time, because you have that Cancer, you know, that's the house cusp sign, it's like you may need to learn to overcome procrastination, because Cancer is a sign, you know, that deals with familial energy, you know, comfort and safety. You know, Cancer is ruled by the sun, by the moon. It's represented by the crab. You know, the crab has a exterior that's hard, but an interior that's soft. You know, so it's like, but at the end of the day, that's what it is. You know, like learning how to overcome procrastination, but overcoming yourself as well. You know, like especially with that sun in Libra. But we already talked about all of that earlier. You know. All right, so okay, so let's now to conclude the reading, the sun. So I think I've been working on this reading for like a month now. But anyways, the sun, to conclude the reading. So your sun is in, the sun rules the 12th house. So the 12th house is ruled by the sign Pisces, you feel me? The 12th house is also the last house. So it doesn't deal with the physical world, you know. It's like the trinity, the trinity of psychic, their psychic house, not even psychic houses, but the 4th house, the 8th house, and the 12th house don't deal with the physical world, you feel me? Like the 4th house, as we discussed, deals with your family life, but it's like your family life and your DNA and your ancestors and your heritage, you know. That's more like, sure, if there's a physical expression, but it's like, you know, on a deeper note, like your family, you guys have soul ties and soul connections, you feel me? And that's why the 4th house. But then the 8th house, this is a house that kind of deals more with your karma, you feel me? And like the things in life that you are meant to be enlightened about, you know, because the 8th house is Scorpio, and Scorpio is a sign that deals with mysticism, but mysteries, You feel me? In the unknown, the hidden, and the occult. So yeah, that's the 8th house, and it's also the other psychic house as it's termed. But then the 12th house, this is the last house. This is the house. It does deal with the transcendence of the ego. You feel me? Because from a higher awareness, we understand that as we evolve consciously, right? As our consciousness evolves, we get to a certain level of awareness where we are willing to surrender ourselves to God, you feel me, at the end of the day. And that's the 12th house, you feel me? And the 12th house, Pisces. Pisces is also the last sign, you know. And so Pisces, as I'm sure you know, a lot of Pisces are old souls. Not all of them, but a lot of them are, because it is the last sign. And Pisces is an accumulation of all the other signs, you feel me? So with Leo ruling over your 12th house, you feel me? And I feel this too, you know, and within me as well. But it's like there becomes a dominion over the spiritual realm, you feel me? And you, like, a lot of your executive abilities and your ability to will things into existence, you know, keyword for Leo, the will, you know, does deal more so with the spiritual plane than the physical plane, is what I'm saying. So it's like, with Leo being here, you should most definitely get into, for instance, I don't know if you've heard of Joe Dispenza, right? Joe Dispenza, he's more of a mystic, right? But he's a scientist, a neuroscientist who teaches people how to attain heart-brain coherence and how to interact with the quantum, you know, the quantum, he talks about quantum leaps and things like that. But yeah, with the sun ruling over your 12th house, this indicates that where you should primarily focus on cultivating power is the spiritual plane, you feel me, the spirit realm. And if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense, you know, considering, you know, you're like a stay-at-home wife, and like this and the 3rd and the 4th and the 5th, you feel me? And I feel like, but then also with everything else we talked about, but then also with your moon being in Sagittarius, you know, all these things add up. And so, yeah, you know, but like the 12th house, it also deals with hidden abilities and hidden skills and things like that, you feel me? And so with Leo being in the 12th house, it indicates that, like, even though you are a natural leader, you may be oblivious to your natural leading abilities, you feel what I'm saying? And it's like, you would benefit from taking a couple steps back and analyzing your leaderal abilities and seeing how it is that you unconsciously are a leader, you feel me? Because the 12th house is also the house of the unconscious mind, you know. It also deals with the collective consciousness. And awesome thing about the Leo energy in the 12th house is that, like, awesome thing about the Leo energy in the 12th house is that, like, in a sense, I want to say that your identity becomes malleable and moldable to fit and suit the needs of the collective consciousness. You know, this energy right here, I feel like your identity and your will gets orientated more so towards either having a desire to want to serve, like it having a desire to express that way versus any other way, you feel what I'm saying? But Sabrina, that pretty much concludes your reading, you feel what I'm saying? And so, yeah, let's definitely do the mentorships, you know. And what we're gonna start with is self-imaging reconstruction, you feel me? I'm sorry, I still don't have the label for it, you feel what I'm saying? But self-imaging reconstruction, you feel me? And so within these sessions, I am just gonna be breaking down to you, you know, how, like, to what the self-image is, you know, and how essentially you program it. And you know, we already talked a lot about your energy, and so I'll be also instilling and giving you tools that you can use, before I'm saying, to ensure that, yeah, you know, that you can use to ensure that the energies you're drawing and you're programming yourself with are harmonious to you, feel me? Because it's like, certain things, certain affirmations may not work for us, but they may work for another person, and it has a lot to do with our unique energy versus their unique energy. You feel me? In the sense that someone who went through a lot of, like violence, and like suppression, when they think I am strong, like by the law of auto-suggestion, they may arise, like all these different thoughts, you feel me, may arise within them. I hope this makes sense, you feel me? Because that doesn't deal with strength. Like, I am strong, but then it's like the subconscious mind starts to pull up all these different reasons why you're not strong and X, Y, and Z. So yeah, you know, it's like sometimes if you don't completely 100% know what you're doing, affirmations can be bad, but holistically affirmations are going to be good. You know, affirming good things to yourself are going to be good, of course. But it's like if we're going to take it to a deeper science and get, you know, practical with it, then yeah, you know, we got to take into consideration the law of auto-suggestion. And so it's Monday. I'm more than happy to start our sessions on Wednesdays, so like every Wednesday until we get done, you feel me? Wednesday or Thursday, I don't know how that sounds with you, but you can send me a day, you know, and we can start our first session this week, you know, this Wednesday or this Wednesday or this Thursday, you know, whatever works with you, my friend. But yeah, so definitely let me know what you thought of the reading, and I would really appreciate it if you can leave me a review, you feel what I'm saying? But yeah, that pretty much concludes the reading. Alright, peace.